Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nida Fafianka. So today I will explain about Review Lab 2. First, router as ISP client should connected with internet access using wireless DHCP client. And also we make IP address for Ether 1 until Ether 4. In Ether 1, we make IP address 172.168.10.28. In Ether 2, we make IP address 172.168.20.28. In Ether 3, we make IP address 172.168.30.28, and last we make IP address for Ether 4 using 172.168.4.40.28. And we make IP pool for every DHCP server with the range are 10 client. And then we make DHCP server with the name is review2, strip the interface that we use, and then also we adding IP pool in DHCP server. And then we make DHCP server network for every client, and also we make IRP for every port. And then do checking every client that has been connected with server. And then do checking every client couldn't use IP static or IRP. And then click Winbox. Login using MAC address with the user is admin with hot password, and then click connect. First, we do checking interface that we use using command interface, and then print. And then click enter. In here, I'm going to configuration command for every Ether or every port. Okay, first I'm gonna make command for Ether 1 using command interface, and then set Ether 1. The command is DHCP1. In here, I'm gonna make Ether 1 for DHCP1, and then we setting Ethernet 2 for DHCP2 using command interface, and set Ether 2, and then command DHCP2, and then setting command Ether 3 for DHCP3 using command interface, and then set Ether 3, and then command DHCP3. And last, for Ether 4 using command interface, and then set Ether 4, and then command DHCP4. Also, we will make one for HP client. Type interface, and then set one command HP client. Then we do checking using interface. Okay, so in here I'm gonna make DHCP1 until DHCP4 for every Ethernet, and then run one for HP client. Okay, first we should enable 1.1 using command interface, and then wireless. Okay, and then enable 1.1. And then do checking using command interface, and then wireless, and then print. Okay, so in here we could see that 1.1 as HP client just actived. Okay, and then we make security profile for 1.1. The purpose is to make 1.1 more secure using command interface, and then wireless. And the security profiles at name. In here, I'm gonna using my name Nida, and then mode state dynamic case, and then authentication type. I'm gonna use WPA 3PSK, and also WPA 3PSK. And we add unique strippers. In here, I'm going to use AES and then CCM, and group zippers, I'm going to use AES 3 CCM. And also, don't forget to setting PPA pre-shared key. In here, I'm going to use NIDA 1234, and then WP2 shirt K. In here, I'm gonna use NIDA 1234, and then click enter. After that, we do checking using command interface wireless security profile print. Okay, so in here we could see that we successfully created a security profile by name is NIDA. Okay, and then we do setting on VLAN 1. But before that, we should scan using command interface and then wireless scan VLAN 1. The purpose is for make sure what ISP client, what access point that we will use, and then click enter. Okay, so in here I'm gonna use HP NIDA for SSID VLAN 1. And then do setting on VLAN 1 using command interface and then wireless. And then set 11. And then mode station with the band is 2 GHz BGN. And then SSID, NIDA, and also security profile, NIDA. And then we click enter. Then we do checking using interface and then wireless and then print. Then click enter. Okay, so in here we could see the status is R. That means SP client or WLAN 1 just running. Okay. After that, router should connected with internet access. So in here, I will configure DHCP client using IP and then DHCP client. And then add interface 11 disable no for activating DHCP client. And then click enter. Then do checking using IP and then DHCP client and then print. Then click enter. In here, we could see that run 1 just got IP address 192.168.43.109/24 with the status is bomb. Okay. And then we do ping to IP gateway to make sure the router has been connected with SP client. Type ping and then 172.168.43.1. Click enter. Okay, so in here the result is replay. That means router has been connected with access point. And then do checking to and then do ping to google.com to make sure, and then do ping to google.com to make sure the router has been connected with internet access. Type ping and then google.com, then click enter. Okay, so in here the result is replay. That means router has been connected with internet access too. Okay, so after that we configuration IP address for Ethernet. First, I'm going to make IP address for Ether1 using command IP and address, and then add an address 172.168.10.8 with the slash is 24 and then interface Ether1. Then click enter. Then I'm gonna make IP address for Ether2 using command IP and then address, and then add an address 172.168.20.28/24 with the interface is Ether2. And then click enter. And then we make IP address for Ether3 using command IP and an address, and then add an address 172.168.30.28/24 and then interface using interface Ether3. And then click enter. We make IP address for Ether4 using command IP and an address, and then add an address 172.168.43.28 with the slash is 28 with slash is 24 and an interface Ether2. Ether4, and then click enter. And then we do checking using command IP and an address and then print. Okay, so in here we could see that we successfully created IP address for Ether1 until Ether4. Okay. Okay, and then we make IP pool first to make range IP address for client. First, I'm gonna make for client 1 first. First, I'm gonna make for client 1 using command IP, and then pull, and then add name. In here, I'm gonna using name DHCP 01, and then range, with the range is 172.168.10.29 until 172.168.10.38, and then click enter. Then we make IP pool for client 2. Okay, in here change name using the HCP strip 02 with the range is 172.168.20.29, and also until 172.168.20.38. And then we make IP pool for Ether 3. Change name DHCP strip 03, and then range 172.168.30, and then 29 until 172.168.30.38, and then make IP pool for DHCP4 using command IP, and then pool, and then 8, and then name DHCP4, and then range 172.168.40.29, and then 172.168.40.30. And then click enter. And then do checking using command IP, and then pull, click enter. Okay, so in here we could see that we successfully created IP pool with the range is as okay. So in here we could see that we successfully create IP pool for every client. And then we make IP-DHCP server and add IP pool there for every client. In here, I will make for a client 1 first using command IP and DHCP server, and then add interface name review 2, and then Ethernet that we use Ether 1, and interface Ether 1, and then address pool. Name address pool is DHCP 01, and then disabled no for activating DHCP server. And then we make IP DHCP server for Ether 2. Interface Ether 2, and then address pool is DHCP02, disabled no. And then we make DHCP server for Ether 3 with the name review02 strip Ether 3, and then interface Ether 3 too, with the name address pool is DHCP3 and disabled no. And then we make IP.HCP server for Ether 4 with the name is review02 strip Ether 4 and Ether 4, and interface using interface Ether 4, address pool using DHCP04 and disabled no. Then click enter. And then we do checking using command IP and then DHCP server, and then print. Okay, so in here we could see that we successfully created IP DHCP server and then adding address pool too. Okay, and then we do configuration IP network for every Ethernet. Okay, for Ether 1 using command IP and then DHCP server and then network, and then add address 172.168.20.0/24, and then gateway 172.168.10.28, and then DNS servers using 8.8.8.8, and then click enter. And then we make IP-DHCP server network for Ether 2. Change 10 into 20, and gateway 172.168.20.0/24, 20.28 with the same DNS server. And then we make the DHCP server network for Ether 3. Change 20 into 30 and gateway using 30.28 and DNS server using the same. Okay, and then we make the DHCP server network for Ether 4. Change 30 into 40 and then gateway using 40 to 28 and DNS server same as others, and then click enter. And then we do checking using command IP and then DHCP server network and then print. In here we could see that we successfully created IP DHCP server network for every Ethernet. Okay, and then we adding IRP to IP DHCP server using command IP and DHCP server set numbers 0 at IRP yes. And then for Ether 2, for Ether 3, and for Ether 4. And then do checking using IP and then DHCP server print. In here we could see that we successfully adding IRP to every DHCP server. And then do checking to interface Ethernet using interface and then Ethernet and then print. Click enter. Okay, so in here we could see that IRP setting is enabled. In here I'm gonna change setting enable to replay only using command interface and then Ethernet and then set number 0 IRP replay only. Do the same to okay. If we do setting to replay only to interface, so Winbox will automatically start. Click reconnect and then do checking using interface and then Ethernet and then print. Enter. So in here we could see the status RP is reply only. Then do the same to other interface using interface Ethernet set numbers 1 and then interface Ethernet set number 2 and then interface Ethernet set number 3 and then we do checking using interface Ethernet print. So in here we could see the status RP is reply only. And then we do checking for every Ethernet. But first we should make sure click open network internet setting and then change adapter options. First we should make sure Ethernet setting is obtained. Okay, click obtain, close, click close. And then in here I'm gonna doing disable and enable again. Wait, open, click details. So in here we could see that client number 1 just got IP address 172.168.10.38 with the subnet max /24. Default gateway is 172.168.10.28 and with then a server 8.8.8.8 and then close and then create CMD. Do checking using ping IP router 172.168.10.28 and then click enter. Okay, so in here we could see the status is replayed. That means client has been connected with a router. And also we do checking to IRP. But first we should configuration IP static to client. In here, we should using IP address one network. Using in here, I'm gonna using 172 and then 168 and then 28.30 subnet max plus 24 and then default gateway using IP router. So what? Well, 172.168 and then 28 and then we do checking for IRP. But first we showed configuration IP static to client. Click Ethernet and then properties and then Internet Protocol version 4 and then configuration IP static. In here I'm gonna use 172.168 and then 10 and then 30. With subnet max is /4/24 and then default gateway using IP router 172.168 and then 10 and then 28. With DNS server using DNS server google.com 8.8.8.8 and then click OK. Close, close. Yes, so in here we do checking using ping to IP router again. Ping 172.168.10.28 and then click enter. So in here we can see the result is request timeout. That means client has not been connected with router again. And then we moving Ether 1 to Ether 2. And then click Ethernet, properties, click Internet Protocol version 4, and then properties. Make sure the setting is obtained. Click OK, and then close, close, and then click Ethernet, click details. In here we could see that client 2 uh, got IP address 172.168.20.38 with the subnet max /24 and then default gateway 172.168.20.28 and DNS server using dnsgoogle.com 8.8.8.8. And then we do checking the CMD and then ping to IP router using ping 172.168.20.28 and then click enter. So in here we could see the status is replay. That means client 2 has been connected with a router. And then we do checking to IRP, but first we should configuration IP static to IP client. And then configuration IP static. So in here I'm gonna use 172.168 and then 20.30. With the subnet max using subnet max /24. And then default gateway in here I'm gonna use IP router 172.168 and then 20 and then 28. And DNS server using dnsgoogle.com 8.8.8.8. Then click OK, close and then close. After that, we do checking using CMD. Checking do ping to IP router using command ping 172.168.20.28 and then click enter. Here we could see the start three. In here we could see the result is request timeout. That means client 2 has not been connected with um, router again. And then we move ether 2 to ether 3. Click Ethernet properties and make sure the setting is obtained again. Click OK. Click close. And then close. Okay, and here click details. So in here we can see that client 3 has been connected with router and got IP address 172.168.30.28 and with subnet max /24 and then default gateway 172.168.30.28 and DNS server. In here I'm using DNS server google.com 8.8.8.8 and then we do checking to CMD and then ping to IP router ping 172.168.30.28 and then click enter. Okay, so in here we could see the status is replay. That means client 3 has been connected with router. And then we configuration IP static to Ethernet. Properties, click Internet Protocol version 4 and then use the following IP address. In here I'm gonna use IP address 172.168 and then 30 and then 30. But the subnet mark is /24 and then default gateway using IP router 172.168 and then 30 and then 28 and then DNS server using DNS server using IP address google.com 8.8.8.8 and then click OK. Close, close, and then do check-in to CMD and ping to IP router. In here we could see the status is request timeout. That means client 3 has not been connected with router again. Okay, after that we move ether 3 to ether 4. Okay, and then click Ethernet. Make sure the setting is obtained. Click OK. Close. Close. And then click Ethernet. Click Details. Okay, so in here we could see that client 4 has been connected with router and got IP address 172.168.43.38 with the subnet max /24 and then gateway 172.168.40.28 and DNS server using IP address google.com 8.8.8.8 and then close, and then do checking to CMD and ping to IP router using ping 172.168.40.28 and then click enter. In here the result is replay. That means client 4 has been connected with router. And then do checking to RP, but first we should configuration IP static to client. Use the following IP address and then type 172.168 and then 43.30 and subnet max using /24 and then default gateway using 172.168 and then 40.28 and DNS server using IP address google.com 8.8.8.8 and then click OK, close and close. And then do checking to CMD and ping to IP router. Okay, so in here we could see the result is request timeout. That means client 4 has not been connected with router again. Okay, so I think that's enough. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.